What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, daily news, pretty much everything going on here in our country and in the United States, money, investing, the stock markets. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. I will keep you up to date with everything. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. Last night, we had Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announce a new prescription drug pricing deal to lower the cost of prescription drugs for millions, tens of millions of Americans, as they're going to add or trying to add multiple different provisions into the stimulus package here at the very last moment as they go towards a vote on the stimulus package. Here is Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer with this major announcement of this addition.
And now I have an important announcement on progress for the President's agenda. I'm pleased to announce that an agreement has been reached to lower prescription drug prices for seniors and families in the Build Back Better legislation. Fixing prescription drug pricing has consistently been a top issue for Americans year after year, including the vast majority of both Democrats and Republicans who want to see a change because they simply cannot afford their medications. We've heard this from people across the country who have serious illnesses and can't afford their medicine. What a painstaking position to be in. It's horrible. Today, we've taken a massive step forward in helping alleviate that problem. By empowering Medicare to directly negotiate prices in Part B and Part D, this deal will directly reduce out-of-pocket drug spending for millions of patients every time they visit the pharmacy or doctor. It will cap out-of-pocket spending at $2,000 per year, ending the days where a life-changing diagnosis could mean thousands upon thousands of dollars in new expenses. And it will reform the entire industry to stop price gouging. And change both drug company and health insurer incentives to make sure our country's drug pricing system benefits patients, not corporations. I want to thank many of my colleagues who worked on this. Senator Klobuchar, who was here, Senators Wyden, Murphy, Cortez Masto, Bennett, and Kelly. Senators Shaheen, Hassan, and Smith for their leadership on insulin. The price from insulin will go down from $600 an injection or a dose to $35, whereas where it should always have been if we would have had proper laws in place. And Senator Sinema has told me she supports this agreement.
Yeah, so really big announcement. That was just yesterday from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announcing the deal to, you can see here, announcing the deal to lower prescription drug prices for tens of millions of Americans in this stimulus package as they reach a breakthrough deal on prescription drug prices as the spending bill nears the finish line. This is just the latest item that they're adding to the stimulus package, the American Families Plan. Just a few days ago, this was not in the package, and now this is going to be added into the stimulus package. And you heard Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer say that the cost of insulin will go from $600 to $35. What a savings. I mean, that is, what is that, like a 90% savings or something like that? That is insane. So just as that as an example, that's obviously a life-saving drug. So we're gonna see a lot of savings like that for millions and millions of people going forward. Again, they have to pass the bill though. So Kirsten Sinema is on board. We'll have to see what Joe Manchin says about this bill. Of course, he's the big wild card. Senator Kirsten Sinema is kind of the medium-sized wild card, but she was a big advocate for the prescription drug pricing issue on this. So she says she is for this. So this is a very good thing. This won't cover brand new prescriptions that come to the market. That does kind of makes sense because, you know, when a pharmaceutical company has to develop a brand new drug, they have to spend millions and millions of dollars. I can understand that as kind of a middle ground there. So, if I'm just trying to look at it from both point of view. But when a prescription's been on the market for many many years and there's generics involved, and when we're talking about life saving drugs and stuff like that, to see something like insulin be reduced from $600 to $35, what a change. What a change, a life-saving change for millions of people. We'll have to see what other type of pricing changes come about. If I see those type of things, if I see the numbers, I'll let you guys know. Inhalers, blood pressure medication, things like that. I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you guys in the loop. So again, a well-needed change that will be added to this stimulus package. So a life-saving change for many many people, and a cost-saving change for millions and millions of Americans. So this was one of the things I was really hoping would be in there. They say 66% of adults are on prescription drugs. I'm actually surprised it's not higher, and I have the feeling that the 33% of adults that's maybe aren't on them, or maybe adults that maybe can't afford them, maybe would be on them if they could afford them. Sure, there's maybe some that don't want to take them, or maybe don't need to be on them or something like that. But I have a feeling that 33% of adults that maybe I have a feeling that there's probably a percentage of them that just maybe can't afford to be on some of this, and maybe this new change, uh, when they pass the bill, might enable that to be, a little bit more. I've already seen a lot of your guys' comments from the video last night saying how great of a change this will be to, and just the one example of insulin coming from $600 down to $35. Wow. Just absolutely just game changing item. So, going forward, here is Pramila Jayapal, leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus. She's the leader of 96 Democrats in the House of Representatives, on what is going to happen here going forward with the voting process and what's going to happen next. Here she is, kind of giving us some more information on the process.
Is we said, give us the text of the Build Back Better Act, give us a vote on the Build Back Better Act and the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and we will pass both through the House and send them over to the Senate. Obviously, the bipartisan infrastructure bill has already passed the Senate, but we will send the Build Back Better Act over to the Senate. Now, some of our members are nervous, obviously, about what the Senate is going to do. But at this point, we feel that having had conversations with Senator Sinema, having talked to the president, having had the president come, that we will trust the president that he will get 51 votes in the Senate for it.
I guess the part I don't understand is why you trust him today on Tuesday, but you didn't on Thursday.
Because we didn't have a bill and we didn't have a vote. We were not ready to have a vote on the Build Back Better Act. This week, we will have votes on both the infrastructure bill and the Build Back Better Act together, which is what we've called for weeks. So we finally got what we've been saying, and we're glad that people listened to us.
He was saying trust me on Thursday, though.
But we didn't have the bill. And he did not ask for us to vote on that day. He said, I need votes on both bills. And we have been saying for months, we are not going to vote just on an idea or a promise or a framework. We're going to vote on legislation. The minute we have legislation, we can look at it. Our members can decide whether it is good enough, which we feel very good about. Then we will pass both bills. And I think that is what we've been saying for weeks. I don't understand why anyone's confused about it. Last week, we did not have a vote on the Build Back Better Act. We did not have text. This week, we have text. We're going to have a vote on both bills.
Because there's an interpretation where you up less this morning than you did 5 days ago. 5 days ago, we didn't know exactly where Joe Manchin stood on this. Now, Joe Manchin is letting you know he's not a definite yes.
I just got to say, we can't worry about, we've always said we're going to trust the president once we have the bill and the vote. And that's what we've been saying for weeks now. And we got the bill. We are going to have the vote. And we will trust the president to deliver 51 votes.
How much do you trust Joe Manchin? I know there are members of your caucus who don't. I mean, this is Cori Bush from Missouri who said Joe Manchin's opposition, granted he did not say he's opposed to the Build Back Better Act, but she says Joe Manchin's opposition to the Build Back Better Act is anti-black, anti-child, anti-woman, and anti-immigrant.
Well, look, people are frustrated. I've told everybody in the final days of a negotiation, tempers flare, people say things that they feel, and it's real. Just like Joe Manchin did a press conference, our members are frustrated. But what I am saying is we are finally at the place we've been asking for, demanding over the last several months, which is two bills moving together in the House, and we'll get them both done.
So, from what Pramila Jayapal is saying here, from what I understand what she's saying, she's planning on going ahead without Joe Manchin, without his blessing, without him saying that he's going to vote yes from the Senate. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. The House can vote yes. The House can start voting on the bill, the stimulus bill, and pass it in the House without Joe Manchin's blessing, without his approval, without him doing anything. Remember, the House and the Senate are separate entities, right? So the House can vote on the bill and pass the bill. Okay, if we go back to the third stimulus check package, the past stimulus package, the House passed the bill and then sent it over to the Senate. And Joe Manchin actually wasn't even on board. And then the Senate actually passed a very significantly different version. Okay. If you remember, if we go back to that, the House passed the bill. The Senate then had to change the bill, or did change the bill significantly. They had to remove the $15 an hour minimum wage. Well, number one, because the Senate parliamentarian said it can't or shouldn't be in there. They actually tried to overrule her. They just voted on it anyways on the floor. And if they would have got the 50 or 51 votes, they would have literally just overruled her. But they only got 42 votes for it. So they removed the $15 an hour minimum wage provision that the House actually passed. Okay. So the bill that the House passed had the $15 an hour nationwide minimum wage provision. Okay. So the Senate had to remove that. Then the Senate lowered the stimulus check threshold. It had $100,000 was the cutoff for single earners, non-head of household. They lowered that down to $80,000 was the final cutoff because of Joe Manchin. He basically said people earning single earners shouldn't really need a stimulus check, and you may or may not agree. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. But as part of the negotiation, they added in that $10,200 unemployment bonus check or tax refund check, which basically said for retroactive back to 2020, if you had unemployment income for 2020, the first $10,200 of unemployment income became tax free. And that meant that anybody who had unemployment income in 2020, the first $10,200 of it was tax free. And that meant the majority of people got several $100s to several $1,000s as a tax refund or stimulus provision, whether you call it a stimulus check or a tax refund or stimulus provision. It was passed from that third stimulus check or third stimulus check package, I should say. And that was literally all those things were added in at the last moment. After the House passed the bill, the Senate passed a different bill. So then they had to send it back to the House, and then the House had to then repass the bill because they had to pass the same bill. The House and the Senate have to pass the exact same bill. So even though the House passed the bill, the Senate had to send it back to the House because the bill the House passed was basically, it didn't matter. They had to repass the Senate's version of the bill. So it was the same bill. Identical. Let me know if you know what movie that's from. If you know what movie that's from, you're a good movie buff. Identical. So yeah, they had to pass identical bills. So what Pramila Jayapal is kind of saying, no, this may or may not happen, but the House may actually proceed and go ahead and vote on this. There's a problem with this here, and this headline will kind of set you up for this. This is here from Fox News. What happens if the House votes on the social spending bill this week without Joe Manchin's blessing? If the House forges ahead, they have a problem. Yeah, And Fox News is probably right here, because here's what's going to happen. If they forge ahead with this, then they have to vote on the physical infrastructure package. And once they pass the stimulus package in the House, then they have to pass the physical infrastructure package in the House. That thing's going to pass like that, literally in a matter of hours. I mean, it's just a formal vote. They're just going to vote on it. Poof, it's gone. And that bill is just gone. It's just already passed the Senate. It's going to pass the House. Democrats alone can pass it. They're going to get some Republican votes. It's going to get some Republican votes. Remember, Mitch McConnell and some Republicans voted on it. Kevin McCarthy, the leader of the Republicans in the House, isn't for it, but Mitch McConnell was for it. So Republicans are kind of divided on it. But the Democrats, once they decide to vote on it, after they vote on the stimulus package or whatever order they go on it, that bill's done, finito, it's gone. Okay, it goes to the president's desk and it's gone. But the stimulus package still needs to get voted on by the Senate, and that's where Fox News is right in this instance, because the bill will only have been passed by the House, the stimulus package, but the physical infrastructure package will be finished. It'll be passed by the House, the Senate, and the president, but the stimulus package will only be passed by the House, but yet will have the harder challenge of still yet having to be passed by the Senate and Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. Passing the House is kind of the easy part. Passing Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema is the harder part, right? You have to pass both to pass the stimulus package, right? And if Joe Manchin's not on board, you don't have a stimulus package, right? So it would kind of present a problem if the House votes on the stimulus package and passes it, and then thereby they have to fulfill their obligation to vote on the physical infrastructure package and then pass that. If Joe Manchin's not on board in the Senate and they don't have his word or his agreement that he's going to pass that, which they don't have right now. They don't have his word or his agreement. Literally just yesterday, he was saying he wants to pause and wait and see the text, have the Congressional Budget Office score it and do the math on it and make sure of this and make sure of that, which kind of sounds pretty logical, sounds pretty reasonable. But right now, there's no commitment from him that he's going to vote yes on it, at least not yet. So if the House forges ahead and votes on it, which I get that everybody wants to pass it right away, but if you pass it right away without a commitment from Joe Manchin, well, he wants to pass the physical infrastructure real bad, right? You know, we have that whole conspiracy theory, which is kind of true, with his wife being involved with the physical infrastructure package and her being involved with the foundation that she's on the board of, that her foundation is getting $1 billion. So, yeah, and you know, the coal industry and all that stuff, right? In West Virginia and all that stuff, right? So once they pass the physical infrastructure package, he has less incentive to even pass the stimulus package. Now, I don't know how much less incentive, but that's why the progressives kind of know what they're doing. They're like, yeah, we got to pass the stimulus package first. But if they don't get Joe Manchin's commitment, again, it's a very complex problem here. Yeah.
So this does mean, though, that infrastructure could be done, will be done, well before Build Back Better.
Yes. My hope and belief in talking to the Senate Majority Leader, talking to other senators, talking to the President, is that the Senate will move this forward very quickly, and we will have this transformative piece of legislation that will provide child care to everyone across the country, pre-K to every child in America. Will actually invest housing, the biggest investment in housing, John, ever in the history of our country, taking on health care, hopefully taking on prescription drug pricing, very popular. We are looking to do that. As well in the bill, and of course immigration, and most importantly, as the president is in Glasgow, $555 billion into taking on climate change.
All of this depends on getting Joe Manchin sign-off there. So just on immigration, do you have Manchin sign-off?
on all of this, we are trusting the president to deliver 51 votes in the Senate.
I noted you've been a central player in these negotiations for a long time with the White House directly. Did the White House at any point tell you it's time? It's time.
I mean, the White House has been clear that they want both bills passed, and they would have loved to see whatever we could get passed as quickly as possible. My job is to represent 96 members of the Progressive Caucus, so I made it clear to the White House that once we got both bills together and ready to pass and passed both bills, that our members would vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which, by the way, nobody's covered this, but that's kind of a huge thing because there were a lot of people who did not like the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But what we are saying is we're part of the Democratic Party. We will vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and we expect that our colleagues across the Democratic caucus will vote for and pass the Build Back Better Act.
Also, of course, we have multiple different groups pressing Congress, as well as you guys from home, pressing Congress to send a stimulus check to adults in addition to the child tax credit, those monthly checks going out to children, 65 million children, called the child tax credits. They are going to extend those for one more year, the way it's looking right now. But as you can see from this headline here from a few days ago, Congress is feeling the pressure to send a $1,400 stimulus check again. Will you get one? Right now, I recommend you email, tweet, call your representatives and tell them include a $1,400 stimulus check for adults in this package as well. Again, they're adding items in here literally at the last moment. Right now, they just added the prescription drug pricing plan to reduce the cost of prescription drugs that will literally put hundreds of dollars, in some cases thousands of dollars, in a lot of adults' pockets for reducing the cost of prescription drug pricing for tens of millions of Americans every single year. But we want to continue to keep pushing. We want to keep having them add items in here while they're still negotiating. And remember, they're also going to go through a vote-a-rama process on the floor of the House and the Senate, where they will literally go through an amendment process on the floor called the vote-a-rama process, where they can add things in at the last moment. Remember, they did that with the third stimulus check package. And remember, with the second stimulus check package, they actually did it after the bill was written. They added the stimulus check in there as well because there was an outcry from the people that said, you got to have a stimulus check in there from the second stimulus check package. And they actually took $160 billion away from states, cities, and counties and gave it to the people for the second stimulus check. So they didn't increase the size of the bill. They just took it away from one provision, states, cities, and counties, and gave it to the people. So keep advocating, keep emailing your senators, your representative. Senator Bernie Sanders is a perfect one. Elizabeth Warren, Pramila Jayapal, even Joe Manchin. Tell them your situation. Tell them that you need help, especially if you're from their state. If you're from West Virginia, email Joe Manchin and tell them that people are struggling, you're struggling, and let them know. The prescription drug pricing is actually a really, really big thing. I literally seen so many comments from you guys last night that said, this will help us out so much. And I've seen your guys' own personal stories. I've seen so many people talking about the insulin alone saying, yeah, we pay $600. And if it goes from $600 to $35, it'll literally change your life. And that's just one. I know there's people on inhalers. There's people that take, I mean, literally, there's so many different prescriptions. And just no matter how much you save, any savings is every bit counts, right? That's just one of the items in this stimulus package, and we want to continue to keep advocating to put more of this. And of course, there's going to be another package after this. They're going to pass what they can get with this and basically just finalize. This is basically a half package. Remember, they wanted 3.5 trillion. This is now 1.75 trillion, so it's exactly half. So they're going to pass this package, then they're going to pass the physical infrastructure package too. Then they're going to come back around for the other half. So this is basically part one of the stimulus package. And then they're going to come back around for part two, which Might be another $1.75 trillion or something. So they're going to come around for the second half of this package afterwards. President Biden has already confirmed. So they're basically just passing part one now, stimulus package four, we'll call it, and then they're going to come back and pass the other package afterwards. So, and that could have the big Social Security raise in it. That's not the 5.9% COLA. That's already set in stone. That's going to come out for the January payment. Everybody's going to get that 5.9% Social Security raise, but there's two big Social Security proposals that just hit in the last few days that would raise Social Security benefits by hundreds of dollars per month. I'll link you to a video on that as well. And there's a lot of different things that they could do in the next package as well, including maybe a monthly check like they do for children, the child tax credits. They could do a monthly check like that as well for an adult tax credit as well in the next package as well. Who knows? So I'll keep you up to date with everything. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is that new video about the Social Security raises. There's two really big proposals to raise Social Security benefits by a lot. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.